The Edmonton Oilers have a chance to close out their series tonight, up 3-1 over the Vegas Golden Knights in Sin City. And if they do, they would punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals for the third time in 4 years. Knock on wood. Job's not finished. Job's not done. Shout out Mamba mentality. Shout out Kobe Bryant. As the boys also look to seek some revenge, because according to Tyler, and I believe your game notes, 2 years ago, exactly to this day, the Vegas Golden Knights ended the season of the Edmonton Oilers. I was in the building for that. You were probably in the building for that. I think everybody at Oilers Nation besides Gavin and Connor Howley were at the game that night. Even Zach Lang, Bag Milk. It was a good time. Not the result we wanted. It's going to be better tonight, because that's what we're looking for. We already performed Regicide once these playoffs. Let's add a Golden Knight to the collection as well. Oilers, Knights, Oilers. Game 5 action coming at you. But hello. What up, and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant, and it's also a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today, because you know what, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm joined this evening by Coombsy, live down here at Greta Bar Yeg. It's an away game, so that means it's a real nation event going on down here. We've got the pop-up shop out front and center, where you could also be rocking one of these beautiful Oil Up t-shirts. There you see it on your screen. Brett, are you rocking one underneath your jersey tonight?
You're damn right I am.
I'd also like people to know we can't show it, but Brett's wearing a cape right now.
A cape?
Oh, yeah.
Over an Oilers jersey, over my Oil Up shirt. Oil Up, baby.
That's a true fan.
A lot of layers.
Yeah.
It's a warm walk over.
It's a little warm in here, too. So
Yeah, it is a little hot in here. Something tells me we're going to have one hell of an evening. Hey, might be Wednesday night, but on a possible clinching night down here at Greta Bar Yeg, Phil, the manager, just came over and told us, the reservations were pouring through. We're going to have a nice packed bar this evening. But Coombsy, vibe check. Edmonton Oilers sitting pretty, up 3-1. Also, shout out your better collective windbreaker that you're wearing right now. Company man. All right, vibe check's incredible for me. What about you?
Vibe check is very good. It feels really nice to be sitting here on a Wednesday afternoon with a chance to win this series in Game 5. I mean, I think most of us coming into this series kind of figured it would go 6 or 7 games. This is going to be a long grind, but the Oilers have played really well. I mean, outside of that Game 3 that was sort of a coin flip with the late goal, I mean, they've had 2 really dominant games. Game 1, Game 4, both were probably 2 of their better showings of the playoffs thus far. So the Oilers have a chance to get this done and then have a nice long weekend of rest. And I think beyond the Oilers, all the people that also talk about the Oilers and watch the Oilers would probably be happy to maybe have a weekend of just chilling and vibing as opposed to watching Game 7s.
Me? No way. They couldn't be talking about me. My God, I've said prayers this morning that the Edmonton Oilers can finish this off, get a nice weekend. Also, go Winnipeg Jets. I want that series to go as long as possible. A, so they can beat each other up. B, so that I can also have a little bit more time off. I love hanging out with you in the chat, but Bordzy needs some time as well. Let's get caught up in the chat here as well. Hey, I already got one right here. We're starting off clean. Chris Knobloch is in the chat. First comment of the day. He says, I talked to Jeff Skinner, and he told me he doesn't want to play.
He got his one game, and he's good. He's like, that's enough for me.
He also got 1 point in that one game. Plus 210 on Bet365. Not a big deal. Bordzy's bankroll went 3 for 3 that night. But hey, he got his point. He got his game. Austin's in. Fired up, bro. This is not a drill. CP Milf Hunter. All right. Says, Cup, yeah. Thank you, Brett. I'm going to bring you up for this one as well. Corey Perry is his photo.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're just going to leave that one. Loyal to the oil says Game 6. It's Game 5, but I think I know what he meant here. Let's get a repeat performance from the boys of Round 1, Game 6. Western Conference Final is right there and ripe for the picking. Finish off the Knights. A cup, yeah.
Cup, yep.
Bob Stoffer's in. It's Boosh, baby. Southpaw, a little hope will never die. Cup, yeah.
Cup, yep.
Veronica, cup, yeah, cup, yeah, cup, yeah.
Cup, yeah, cup,
Lance
yeah.
Kane
Cup, yeah.
with a cup, yeah.
Cup, yep.
Chris Lomblock says, Veronica, the guys really appreciate your support, which, hey, we do as well. Somebody said in there, Veronica, you must be a bot. No.
I don't
She
think
just
so.
loves 97. She loves Connor McDavid. She loves the Edmonton Oilers. Those are three things that I love as well. So we got a lot in common. Amanda, we don't have this in common. She said everyone's so confident in the Oilers, talking about how much better they are now than this point last year. Why don't I feel that way? Have they just broken me? Yes,
Yep.
they have. Because come on, drink the Kool-Aid. We're peddling it here. Nin Joel says, hi, Oilers fans, big W. Let's go, Oilers. Let's go, Oilers. And then Lance Kane with a $5 super chat reminder. All your super chats are in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. Lance says, BBBQ at Bordzy House this weekend after an Oilers W. The extra B is for BYOBB. Yeah. That's why I love Lance right there. You know what? No. The Edmonton Oilers win the Stanley Cup. Then we can throw a party in Bordzy's backyard. Now, before we talk about anything about this hockey game, I do want to talk about the battle of the bars going on right now, and it's not Greta Bar Yeg or anything going on down here. We all know. So, Brett, pull up the first photo that we got of the billboard in Edmonton here from Parkway Tavern is the bar, I believe, in Las Vegas. We all know it. They tried their troll in 0.4 seconds. They put it up in Edmonton. I think that is all fair play. That's good game, but it works both ways as well, because shout out to these Oilers fans that made their trip out to the Parkway Tavern so they could do their trolling in person. They got their own cardboard sign that says 3-1 Edmonton Oilers. Yes, Brett?
I also heard that the owner who put up this billboard has also been like buying the drinks of Oilers fans, and specifically this group as well. So little banter back and forth, but
What a beauty.
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's gamesmanship on the ice and off the ice.
Fans should go to Parkway Tavern and just sit there and order waters all night. Just clog everything up, make it a pain in the ass, and just waters nonstop.
Don't spend a dime
nothing.
in the 4 hours that you're there at the bar. Also, now, we're at Greta Bar Yeg Bars. We're not even going to say the name, but shout out to this bar as well, local in Edmonton, that they're doing some trolling of their own. 3-1, go Oilers, go. I love it. Vegas gives it. We're going to give it right on back. And Brett, I know you tonight, you're going to be yelling and screaming at the television set. That's my favorite thing we get here at Greta Bar Yeg, without a doubt. The half-price wings, they're also fantastic. And we've also got Odd Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager, because it's perfect for game day. It's perfect for every single day of the week. Talk about, hey, if we can get a little time off this weekend, something tells me I'm going to be dipping into my round 2 flat that I bought of Odd Company Nation Beer. I crushed round 1's flat without even being at home for a single Edmonton Oilers game. Now round 2, I'm sad to report I have yet to actually crack one open. That will change this weekend. Odd Company, shout out to them. 2 locations in the Edmonton area. Pick them up downtown or the Ritchie location, or simply check liquorconnect.com. Also great news, the Florida Panthers just scored again. It's 4-0 for the Panthers. 5:59, I think, left in the second period. Suck it. But for the Edmonton Oilers, game 4 was a thing of beauty. You could say 58.5-minute dominant performance. I would say 58.5 minutes of playing with the lead for the Edmonton Oilers. It was awesome. Adam Henrique scores 2 big goals. Evander Kane chips in with another, and then Stuart Skinner with a beautiful shutout. Second playoff shutout of his career, stopping all 23 shots that he faced in that hockey game. You know, those guys need their credit, but I do think, and I talked about it a lot on last Pregaming, is Chris Knoblauch is the king of adjustments, and it was on full frontal there. Full frontal, probably not the way I want to say that. It was on full display, take 2, in game 4 for the Edmonton Oilers. First off, he decides to split up Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And why? Hey, while they both didn't put up insane points and have those numbers, Connor McDavid looked really, really good back with Zach Hyman and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, while Leon Draisaitl leaned into a defensive role more so in that hockey game. He said, Chris Knoblauch asked him, we need you to shut down Jack Eichel tonight and that first line, and Leon Draisaitl took it upon himself. The other adjustment, bringing in one Kasperi Kapanen. That one worked almost immediately. Is on his first shift, dude. He laid not 1 hit, 2 hits, possibly even a third big one. He was fantastic, really utilized his speed, physical play, and it's crazy you can be a waiver wire guy. I remember his first game with the Oilers, claimed off waivers, placed top 6 with Leon Draisaitl. Fast forward here to round 2 against the Vegas Golden Knights. He hasn't played all playoffs. Then the first game he's in, you're on the wing in the top 6 with Leon Draisaitl, and he did not look out of place at all. He had 5 hits, 2 shots on goal. We're not done there with adjustments. Troy Stecher was awesome in that hockey game, played over 16 minutes, and I think we're officially able to give him the title of the Darnell Nurse Whisperer, because Darnell, we know it. He's been a little bit of a roller coaster so far this postseason, but with Troy Stecher by his side, the man he spent the majority of his minutes with in the regular season, those two looked fantastic, and they were playing third pairing minutes, maybe against a little bit lesser competition. But hey, everything was rolling in that game, and I think a lot of that credit is due to Chris Knoblauch. The playoffs are always about adjustments, period to period, game to game. I got some numbers furthermore here on how much the Oilers turn it on as the series moves along. But what do you think, Game 4, Chris Knoblauch, the puppet master, Coombsy?
Yeah, I mean, this is we kind of learned this in the last round against the LA Kings. We talked a lot of shit about how they refused to do anything with the lineup. It was just the same lines. It was the same defensemen. It was the same, three lines of forwards and 2 pairs of D-men that were playing no matter what every single game. And the Oilers figured out what they were doing, countered, and were able to win the series in 6 games. And then against Vegas here, they win the first 2 games, and they have the loss in Game 3, and then come back with a handful of changes, splitting Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, making one of them kind of focus more on defense, and then opening up the bottom 4 or the bottom 6, the bottom 6 lines to open up a little bit for more offense. It's hard to shut down the other 2 forward lines when you're focusing your efforts on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on 2 different lines. And if the Oilers have all their depth players going, then it becomes incredibly hard to shut down those Adam Henriques and lines like that. So that's what we saw. The Oilers, Chris Knoblauch in last year's playoff run, it was the same thing against the Dallas Stars. Remember, he brought in Philip Broberg to play with Darnell Nurse, and then all of a sudden Nurse's game became considerably better than what it was with Cody Ceci. So Chris Knoblauch has shown in his now playoff run and a half with the Oilers that he always seems to press the right buttons, and there are coaches that try and go through the playoffs without doing anything, and it's not going to happen. You're not going to win, 16 games in the playoffs over the course of nearly 2 months with the exact same lineup.
Absolutely. Jim Hiller, take notes on that one, brother. And the Edmonton Oilers, as I said, they just have a proven track record of getting better as the series moves along. It's a fact. Science, fact, stat, fact, whatever words you want to use. Over the past 3 NHL playoffs, this part's not great. The Oilers, 9-15 in games 1 to 3 of a series. We all know they suck at game 1s, but it doesn't actually matter. But as the series moves along, they are 19-4 in games 4 to 7. And specifically under Chris Knoblauch, they're even better. They're 7-11 in games 1 to 3. It's just who the Edmonton Oilers are. But they are 15-2 in games 4 to 7 under head coach Chris Knoblauch. The only losses, game 5 against the Vancouver Canucks, and then Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final against the Florida Panthers. Don't really need to talk about that one, but in those 15 wins that they had, dude, they've dominated those squads at the end of the series. They've outscored their opponents 60-25. The Oilers aren't just winning games as the series move along. They start to dominate games as they move along. And yes, tonight, you're going to be in tough against the Vegas Golden Knights, backs against the wall, playing for their playoff lives. Also, that home crowd, always very good. They know what they're up against, and their backs up against the wall. I also think Vegas just always has a lot of good showmanship. Brett, we've been on the nation vacation. They pull out all the stops. Something tells me they're going to be extra rowdy in this hockey game. But Nobby has a track record of evolving as things move along. And I guess one thing I wanted to add on to your last point, you talk about Connor and Leon being on different lines and how it makes it so much more difficult for the Vegas defense. Brother, the Adam Henry, Connor Brown, Evander Kane line was arguably the best trio in game 4 there. They started out immediately. Connor Brown strips the puck in the offensive zone, sets up Adam Henrique. They score. They obviously get the second goal as well. And I think that's wave after wave. That's something that travels very well on the road, especially the Oilers. They're not going to have last change tonight. We just said it. It's all about adjustments. Well, tonight, it's kind of in Bruce Cassidy's court. But hey, 15-2 in games 4 to 7 for Chris Knoblauch. That's a beautiful stat, brother.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's you'd obviously rather be on that side of the stat than the other side. It's not ideal for the Oilers that they generally tend to start poorly in a series, but you want to be playing well in those games, 4, 5, 6, 7 games like that are the ones that ultimately matter the most. But I mean, from Edmonton's perspective, this series against Vegas, there's only really one game you can point at. I mean, game 3 was sort of a not really ideal performance. Game 2 was just fine. Game 1 and games 4 have both been really good. And if they can finish this thing off here in 5, then it gives them a lot of time to prepare for the next round.
Oh, that would be nice, brother. You talk about game 4 performance. It was domination. Game 4 wouldn't have been possible without the man in between the pipes. One, Stuart Skinner. He was fantastic in that game. The Oilers needed it. I think the fan base needed it. Fuck it. I needed it personally as the host of this show and a man who has to be in 3 separate Oilers Nation live chats per day. Kind of needed for my sanity, but Stu was awesome. There's no other way to put it. Stopped all 23 shots that he faced, and you could argue maybe, hey, there was a stretch of the game that he wasn't overall that tested. Doesn't matter. He shut the door and made big saves when the Edmonton Oilers needed him. And I thought in that game, we've seen it from time to time where Stu looks erratic. He's kind of a bigger man, and he's not moving well side to side. We all know what I'm talking about. But in that game 4, we talked to Doobie about it. Felt like he really used his size to his advantage. He was moving well laterally, side to side. I thought his rebound control was very, very good, and he was just locked in, dialed in from the get-go, and it was a big one on home ice. And it's the thing, right? You could maybe hope here that this is going to be the turning point. It happened last season when he came in. Calvin Pickard comes in relief of him, and then he comes in relief of one Calvin Pickard. After that, Stuart Skinner started 15 games. 11 of those 15 games, he allowed 2 goals or less. In total, after that, he had a .914 save percentage for the rest of the NHL playoffs. And you talk about the Oilers being good in games 4 to 7. That applies to Stuart Skinner as well. This is an unreal stat. Games 4 to 7. Stuart Skinner is 11-1. And in those 12 games, he has only allowed 17 goals in that stretch. He has 2 shutouts. He's allowed 1 goal 5 times. 2 goals 3 times, and in those 12 games has a .942 save percentage. I would also say he gets better as the series moves along, but hey, shocker, the Oilers play better as it moves along. So does their goaltender as it tends to move along. I would also say with those numbers, buy your Stuart Skinner stock right now. Over 24.5 saves, Brett, -105 on Bet365 tonight. It's not in the bankroll. I'm smashing it. In fact, I already did smash it, so I don't know why I just didn't say that. I didn't like your face, so I got self-conscious. Coombsy, thoughts on Stuart Skinner in Game 4 and the likelihood of him continuing to roll here with that track record in Games 4 to 7?
Yeah, I think we all sort of knew that it was going to take both of Edmonton's goalies to get through a 4-round playoff run. If they're going to win 16 games, like I said, over 2 months, then it's going to take both Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner. Last season, it was Calvin Pickard coming in Vancouver series, like you mentioned, and then Stuart Skinner came back at the end of that series and then rode a very strong performance in that win into the Western Conference Final against the Dallas Stars, where he's probably the MVP of the Oilers in that series, especially think about that closeout Game 6 where the Stars might have, tripled the Oilers in shots in that game, and Stuart Skinner was a brick wall. And I mean, we all know about Stuart Skinner is that he has the up and down stretches, and there isn't much of a middle ground. And we saw the down stretch at the beginning of the LA series. Games 1 and 2 did not look confident in the net, looked small. And then he comes back into the net in the Vegas series because Calvin Pickard gets injured. Doesn't look great in his first appearance, but completely turns on a dime in his second game in Game 4 and looks like a different goalie. And that's the goalie that we've seen many times in the past get hot for weeks at a time and go on these winning streaks. Think back to the Oilers having their 16-game winning streak during the regular season and how good Stuart Skinner looked during that stretch. I mean, this 3-0 win there with Stuart Skinner turning aside all the shots, all 23 shots, I believe it was. It looks like the kind of goalie who's about to settle into a groove and go on a hot streak. And that's what the Oilers need because, I mean, nobody expected that Cal Pickard's going to win all 16 games for them in the playoffs. There's no way that a goalie's not, he's a backup goalie that hasn't taken on that kind of workload. So I mean, they need both the goalies to get them there, and it looks like Skinner's settling into his groove.
It's just one game, but it's a big building block, and also in Game 3. Not that I think Stuart Skinner was necessarily bad in that hockey game, but as we always say, the Oilers cleaned it up in front of him. He rewarded the Edmonton Oilers as well. Also, just seeing here on Twitter, Chris Johnson, we don't have the audio on. The boos have already started at Scotiabank Arena, down 4-0 with 1 minute to go in the second period. Good. Give me the tears of Nick Alberga, host of Leafs Morning Take. Yes, Brett?
Greta in Toronto must be
Oh, I bet
abs-
it's dead silent right now.
Oh God.
Oh, let's go live there right now.
Yeah, almost said that he was going, of course, one of our bosses. And I was like, you know what? Have a great night. Enjoy tonight. Now I feel kind of bad.
I don't think he's going to enjoy the night. Well, if he's down at Greta Barriere, actually, the one in Toronto looks huge. I think it's like 2 stories. It's an absolutely massive, massive bar. Shout out Greta Barriere. They are the best. Now, no lineup changes expected for the Edmonton Oilers in this hockey game. And why would you? But there are expected to be a couple changes for the Vegas Golden Knights. And there's one big one, as their captain, Mark Stone, is expected to be out of tonight's hockey game. Both Mark Stone, Brandon Saad, Alex Pietrangelo, and Braden McNabb all didn't practice today. So here you see this on your screen from Sinbin Vegas. Multiple sources confirmed. They got the expectation that Stoner will not play tonight, but both McNabb and Pietrangelo are expected to go. Both did not practice at morning skate. Brandon Saad is not expected to be back in the series. Now, Brett, do you have the other tweet in there as well that shows this is what they were doing at their morning skate? And because Stone's out, I mean, don't really even look at the decor because we expect McNabb and Petey to be playing. But a lot of things changed up here. So the top line, the way we expect it without their captain, Brett Howden with Jack Eichel, and now Victor Olofsson. Second line, Pavel Dorofeyev, Tomas Hertl, and Nick Waugh now on the wing in the top 6. And then this third line, this is the one that scares me. Ivan Barbashev with Wild Bill Carlson and Riley Smith. Feels like that one with last change could be an area they might be able to take advantage. Then I always want to say Nate Pearson, but it's Tanner Pearson. Nate Pearson's the pitcher, right? I thought he was going to be a legend.
Lester B. Pearson.
I thought he was good. Oh, nice. There you go. With Cole Schwint and Keegan Colasar. And then your deep pairs.
No Ralph Lavoie.
Whatever. Hannafin Theodore. And as I said, we don't expect it because McNabb and Pietrangelo are expected to play in this hockey game. Obviously, you're missing your captain. You're missing your leader. That's going to be a big loss emotionally. He's also the leading goal scorer in the NHL playoffs so far. We know how good defensively Mark Stone is. And I mentioned my theory. Now, this is just me strictly. This is my brain and my opinion. I said it in the last one. So he got hit in the head by a Corey Perry knee. He left the game, and then he practiced in the morning skate before the last game. Bruce Cassidy wouldn't say for sure if he'd be in. Said he needed to see how he responded to practice. So physical exercise. He then gets in the game. Obviously, things don't go well. Probably didn't respond well to that. Now he's going to be out. Mark Stone's got a concussion, brother. I feel like he's got a concussion, and it's swept under the rug. That's just my opinion. But Coombsy, Stoner out. That's a big loss. We expect McNabb and Pietrangelo, but injuries, they're adding up for the Vegas Golden Knights right now. That's without even mentioning Brandon Saad, who we expect to be out for the series. No Mark Stone. Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, this is a big loss for the Vegas Golden Knights. And then, I mean, you don't really want to root for guys getting injured, and that's not really what we're doing here. But it is a big advantage for the Edmonton Oilers in this potential closeout situation in Game 5 against the Golden Knights. Mark Stone, of course, one of the better two-way forwards in the NHL, a winger who can drag his team into it, get the rest of the players in the team involved emotionally, can make an impact on both ends of the ice. So not having that player involved, I think, also makes Jack Eichel somewhat less effective. He has to do a little bit more work on his own line. It's missing, of course, the second member of that 1-2 punch on the top line. And then, of course, we already know Alex Pietrangelo doesn't really look 100%. Neither does Braden McNabb. And the blue line's usually a strength of the Golden Knights, but if they have two key guys that aren't 100%, then suddenly isn't the same blue line that we saw a couple of years ago.
And the depth of the Edmonton Oilers hopefully can take advantage of that. Also, as I mentioned, Leon Draisaitl did a great job blanketing Jack Eichel in the last game. And then without Mark Stone on his wing, hey, I like that matchup for Leon Draisaitl. He's the MVP. Damn it. Get him a Selkie, too, as well. Let's move now to your need-to-know information courtesy of Wilhock Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn that sweet, sweet Wilhock name, made from 100% pure Alberta beef. That jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size. You can find their jerky, sausage, other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. For more info, head on down to WilhockBeefJerky.com. As I said, no lineup changes. Why would you change a thing? That third line, they were looking really good. Then, I mean, Rico had the 2 goals. Kane's on that line. When he scored his goal, he was also playing with Connor McDavid, which is why Nobby is the best, because he works everybody in with everybody, and he knows the hot hand and when it is there. Leon Draisaitl, as I said, took ownership of that shutdown role. Nobby had a quote about Leon. and it was Leon and Podkolzin and Kapanen had played together during the regular season. They played really well together. Leon's a proud guy. He wants to be the best guy on the ice. And if he's got a matchup, it's not too often a Rocket Richard Trophy winner, Hart Trophy winner takes a challenge of a shutdown role. Brett, I think we had another tweet in here that was quoting Leon Draisaitl himself on why he's willing to check Jack Eichel. Because I want to win. And I know sometimes that's what it takes to win. I can put my own stats on the back burner for a couple of months if that means we're going to be the last team standing. Put that shit in my veins, Leon Draisaitl. That is why we love you here in Edmonton. Teams that have a 3-1 series lead go on to win that playoff series 91% of the time. And the Edmonton Oilers, 26-17 all-time in Game 5s. Evan Bouchard leads all NHL defensemen in points these playoffs, currently with 12. Connor McDavid, 7 goals, 10 assists in 10 games played. And as Jason Greger pointed this out, this is a little nuts. He actually has a higher points per game right now in the playoffs than he did last season when he put up 42 points in 25 games. This year, points per game, 1.7. Last year, 1.68. It doesn't feel that way because the Oilers' depth has been the main story of these playoffs. Connor McDavid, we're just blessed. Sometimes I feel like I'm taking him for granted. Another weird note here, and I want to ask Devan Dubnyk about this as well. He will join us for the last 15 minutes of pregaming. Edmonton really seems like they can't buy a power play for much of this postseason. They're only averaging 2.2 power plays per game this postseason, which is way down from last year where they averaged 3.5 power plays per game. I didn't do this math, but that's a decrease of 37%. And the Oilers have won 7 of their last 8 closeout games dating back to 2022. Stuart Skinner, 4-1 in those situations with a .912 save percentage. He will obviously get the start tonight coming off of his shutout performance. Golden Knights, we just talked about it, what their lineup will look like without Mark Stone and, of course, no Brandon Saad. Cole Schwindt will be the new addition into the lineup. The Vegas special teams have been lethal at home this postseason. Their power play, 41.7%. Their PK, dead even 90% as well. Special teams often is what decides an NHL hockey game. It's going to have some emphasis on it tonight down at T-Mobile Arena. Adin Hill, he gets to start. They are so in his head. He is so visibly rattled. 1-3 record in the series. In the series, .872 save percentage. His biggest highlight, I would say, so far, going after Evander Kane in the corner. And as somebody pointed out to us before, Brett said, oh, it was the I highly recommend going over to the other team's Reddit after anyone loses a playoff game. But they were like, oh, I didn't know Adin Hill was the #1 enforcer on the Vegas Golden Knights because he was rattled going after Evander Kane. He went after Zach Hyman earlier in the game. If you're the Oilers and Corey Perry, you are licking your chops, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. If you're any one of those kind of physical wingers on the Oilers, if you're Zach Hyman, if you're Evander Kane, if you're Corey Perry, then you just know Vegas goalie is going to freak out if you get into the crease. You're going to be able to get into his head easy. Maybe he'll have a reaction. Maybe he'll take a penalty. Maybe he'll slash your leg or do something dumb. Everyone knows that he's pissed off, and those forwards, that's the game that they play. So keep doing that, and you're going to be in a good spot.
All right, somber moment here, right? So we got a super chat from our girl Tammy, from our queen Tammy. What we do in this chat, we're family. When one's down, we pick him up. Tammy's getting $30. Dropping my donation early. My grandma's in the ICU on life support. I'm here with her. I will try to check in after we got this for Ben. And together we will all say, cup, yeah. Cup, yeah. Tammy, we love you. Stick taps, hearts in the chat for Tammy as well. We love you.
Tammy.
We're a goddamn family in this chat. Hey, if you ever need a distraction, that's why the chat is here. That's why the Edmonton Oilers are here. Some things much bigger than sports. Tammy, we love you. Thoughts, prayers are with you and your family. Always tough to shift from there. But I'll do our Sherwood Ford Giants storyline brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giants. Nation Valet service going on, of course, right now. You know how it works. They'll come to your office. They'll come to your home. They'll pick up your vehicle. Doesn't even have to be a Sherwood Ford model or a Ford model at all. They'll drive it in. They'll service it, do whatever maintenance needs to be done. They will then drive that bad boy on back to you. You also get that valet package. You get that Oilers Nation air freshener, car freshener. I have like 6 of them in my car, and I will say, one time I did like 2 or 3 of them all at once. It was so nice inside my vehicle. It was arguably smelled too nice.
When did that
smelled unnatural, and you're like, Bordzy, you don't smell that good. What are you hiding in here?
Put those in the recording studios in the office.
That's true. Actually, we keep him in the bathroom of the studio upstairs on the third floor
Not a bad
because
idea.
hey, it's going to work. My storyline in this game, obviously, closing time. I'm not going to sing the song to you right now, but you know how it goes. Basically, just can Edmonton put their foot to the neck of the Vegas Golden Knights? They're a very veteran squad, plenty of experience, 15-2 in games 4-7. And as I mentioned, they're very, very good in closeout games, winners of 7 of their last 8. And we saw it in game 1. The Oilers dominated 15 minutes of that game. Game 2, they were good. Game 3, I'd say that's the one they were the worst in. Game 4, that was a complete 60-minute cliche effort, whatever you want to say. It was beautiful. If they can tap into that on the road, obviously going to be tough. No last change, depending how much you read into that kind of thing. Right now, it just feels like the Oilers, they're a team that went on the Stanley Cup run last season, obviously lost in Game 7, but right now, they just feel like a more complete team at this moment. It isn't just Connor and Leon. Forever, I feel like depth scoring has had such a negative connotation in this fan base. It's so funny to sit here and talk about depth scoring in the complete opposite way, the positivity of it and how unreal it's been in this postseason. My storyline, can you close it out? Also, Connor and Leon in a series clinching games, 22 points in 10 career games. So you got to like that. If I had a key to victory, I'd say the adjustments in game 4 was use your speed, continue to burn around wide if they want to clog up the middle of the ice. Hey, you're going to go around. And I thought that was really good. Kapanen, he brought the Jets, obviously fired up on home ice. Keep that same mentality, and I like the Oilers' chances in this hockey game. You got a storyline or a key to victory for me, Coombsy?
Yeah, I think one of the big stories of last game, and I mean the last 2 games really, is Stuart Skinner coming into the net and having sort of a clunker in his first game back, sort of highlighted by that awful goal that Vegas scored with under a second left to kind of give them life in the series. And then Stuart Skinner bounces back when, fans online are saying that they never want to see him play a game for the Oilers again, and comes back and has a very strong performance for the Oilers in Game 4. I think that's the story for me, is if we get another Stuart Skinner, another strong performance like that here in Game 5, the Oilers win the game, then I think we see that Stuart Skinner's in one of those modes where he's going to play well for quite some time, and that bodes very well for the Oilers going to the conference finals. So I think for the Oilers, you want to win this game however you can win this game, but if you can pick an ideal win you'd like to see, I think it's a low-scoring game where Stuart Skinner plays quite well. I think you don't want to come out of this winning 6-5 worried about your goalie. You want to come out of this win thinking, yeah, I'm feeling good going to the conference finals with my starting goalie.
I want one starting goaltender, mine, leaving the game feeling better about his game ever than before, and I want Aiden Hill leaving in tears. I don't care what it is. I want to see what he does in this hockey game because, as I mentioned, he's a great goaltender. Obviously has Stanley Cup to his name, but he just, this postseason, hasn't been up to his standards, I would say. Bert, throw it up for me now. One last time, our confirmed Edmonton Oilers lines this evening. We expect them to go back with the old trio that we know and love. No, for the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Shout out TB, RNH McDavid, and Zach Hyman. Vasily Podkolzin with Leon Draisaitl and Kasperi Kapanen. Evander Kane, Rico, and Connor Brown. I love that trio. It's going to be the battle of the third lines tonight in this hockey game. That's my prediction. Trent Frederick with Matthias Janmark and the Worm, Corey Perry. Even Nobby pointed out it's really funny that in Game 3, Corey Perry was arguably the Oilers' best forward on the top line. He gets demoted to the fourth line, and it just works. And you know a guy like Corey Perry is a veteran. He's going to take that challenge, adapt his game. What a beauty. Speaking of beauties, Brett Kulak with Evan Bouchard, Darnell Nurse with Troy Stetcher, Jake Wallman with John Klingberg. Also, Brett, I just saw it on Twitter. Shout out Golden State Warriors guard Brandon Podziemski because he is repping an Edmonton Oilers beautiful jersey right there as he walks in. Also, I bet the Warriors get absolutely smoked in their basketball game tonight, but I digress. That's a beautiful thing to see. One guy has been a revelation in these playoffs. I had to think about it because on ONE, Ty said 2 series in, who's your MVP for the Edmonton Oilers? I thought Calvin Pickard, Evan Bouchard, obviously Connor McDavid. But for my out of the box, that the more I thought about it, isn't even that out of the box. I did not expect Evander Kane to be this good, this quick in the NHL playoffs, this impactful, right? He scored another huge goal in Game 4. He's now up to 4 goals so far in this postseason. He's got 7 points in 9 games played in total. He's tied for 5th on the Oilers in points. He's third in even strength points with 7. Remember, he's not on the top power play unit for the Edmonton Oilers. He's averaging a cool 16 minutes a night, which is pretty good for a guy who missed the entirety of the regular season. He's third on the Oilers in hits. He's got 36 of those, and on 5v5 ice, he's outscored the opposition 9-6. All of those numbers are awesome, and sure, they're numbers. The eye test supports that as well, because he is going hard on the forecheck. He's in every single scrum. He is inside of Adin Hill's head right now. Evander Kane, he's been awesome. You know he's a playoff player through and through, but even I didn't expect that he would be this good this quickly. He really looks like 2022, 2023 Evander Kane in the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty difficult to say what to expect because, I mean, you think about Evander Kane and the injuries that he dealt with goes all the way back to before last year's playoffs. These were things that nagging injuries that he was dealing with in the latter part of the 2023-24 season that carried through the playoffs for him, and then he wound up getting taken out of the lineup during the Stanley Cup final after those 2 losses in Florida. And I mean, he has all those surgeries in September. He has another surgery done in January. It was always sort of a wink that he wasn't going to play for the Oilers because of the LTIR, the salary cap stuff. But you just, who knows what you're going to expect coming back from injuries like that. And Evander Kane looks as good, if not better, than he did even last season for the Oilers. Maybe as good as he has for a couple of years since, think back to that playoff series when the Oilers were playing Calgary in the Battle of Alberta. They lose that first game 1-9-6 or whatever it was, and then Kane in the reverse sweep with the 4 wins in a row was undoubtedly the MVP of the series for the Oilers. Just completely shifted the momentum. He was in Matt Tkachuk's head. He was in everybody's head on the Calgary Flames, and that's what he's sort of demonstrated throughout his time with the Oilers in these playoff games. When things get intense, then he's the guy that makes it really difficult for the other team. He's the guy that hits the other D-men hard, who gets on the goalie's face,
who smiles in your face with that those beautiful teeth. There's nothing you can do about it. Also, the last 2 times Evander Kane rolled up in a Rolls Royce to the game, he scored goals. What did he roll up in with tonight? Can't confirm. A rolly. So there we go, Evander Kane. Probably got a rollie on his wrist as well. You know he does it in warm-ups. Probably doing it in a closeout game in Las Vegas. Quickly, before we move along, we do have some game notes courtesy of our pals from Sherwood Ford. So, Brett, why don't you hit it for me right now? Spring is officially here. Get your boat service, get your quad service, get your dirt bikes, get everything done, including your motorcycles, or, Brett, as we talked about, buy a scoot whenever we're good. We're good on the video. We're good on the video.
Chill the fuck out.
Just pull it up for me if you could. The tail of the tape between our 2 goaltenders, Adin Hill and 1 Stuart Skinner. Adin Hill, 315 goals against, 8.76 save percentage. And then Stu, 395, 857. Those numbers have drastically improved from the last time that I looked at them on this sheet. We know it. Stu looking to build on that momentum. Adin Hill trying to find some momentum that I would say. The weird thing for him, I mentioned on ONE today, like, you, especially in a visiting building like Rogers Place, don't want the crowd's already going to be on your ass as the opposing goaltender. You don't want to give them extra ammunition and let them know that you are that visibly rattled that you're going to go try and fight Evander Kane. You're giving shots at Zach Hyman after goals. It's just so clearly to me, shows me that he's not feeling good about his game. And as I mentioned, you'd be licking your chops if you are the Edmonton Oilers. And then Stuart Skinner, 11-1, games 4-7. I am smashing Stuart Skinner over 24.5 saves, -105. Do you think that's a good bet?
Absolutely.
Or the Oilers going to shut him down and they won't even get 25 shots?
Nah, it's hard to predict a closeout game like this. As well as the Oilers, we want to see them play or expect them to play. The Golden Knights are going to put up a fight.
Yeah, that's true. We know that. They've got Stanley Cup pedigree for a reason. Let's move now to the away lineup, brought to you by Greta Bar Yeg, my humble abode. We are inside of Greta Bar Yeg right now. Also, they moved over the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game just properly. Feels like it opened up so much space back here, Brett. You got room to breathe over there now. Stretch out those elbows up, some might even say. Shout out Greta Baryeg. Every away game is an awesome Nation event. We got so much merchandise over here. I got trivia ready to go in the second or the first intermission. Looks like a lot of tables are reserved right now. Brett, can you give me a vibe check? Because I can't totally see everything. Hey, there's back milk.
Vibes are fantastic. BM just showed up. Phil just had to yank somebody away from our table, so it's been fantastic.
There we
Some
go.
people are already sitting in the wrong chairs.
Let's go. Hey, and the thing I always say, even if you don't reserve a table and last minute plans, I'm a guy who doesn't plan shit, so I'm just always by the seat of my pants. Come on down to Greta. Standing room only. Brett's standing the whole time. I'm standing the whole time. I'm running around. All right, Bert, hit it for me here. What we project to be the lineup this evening for the Vegas Golden Knights. Brett Howden. Thank you, Brett Holden, for letting me know. Jack Eichel with Victor Olofsson. Dorofeyev with Tomas Hertl and Nick Waugh. Barbashev, Wild Bill, Riley Smith, Pearson, Schwint, Kolasar, Hannafin, Theodore. Now, just trying to find here late breaking because we all know it takes forever for them to hit the ice. It's reported because Petey and Braden McNabb both did not practice or at morning skate earlier today. They are expected to be in the lineup. However, not seeing anything here yet from Sinbin Sports, so they're probably hitting the ice around here as we're guessing. But Coombsy, as I said, that third line of when you look at it, Barbashev, Wild Bill, Riley Smith, Carlson and Smith, they've been very good so far in the series. Ivan Barbashev, we know what he's capable of. A little surprised he's not playing with Jack Eichel on the top line. I think it might be to create a matchup nightmare. Nightmare, I'll put in quotations there. What do you think of that third line, Barbashev, Carlson, and Smith?
I think sort of the goal is because the Oilers have Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl split up on their own lines, and then, of course, a solid third line there with Adam Henrique centering with Connor Brown and Evander Kane. That's three lines there that can score, including a fourth line, too, with Corey Perry and Trent Frederick. Those are four lines that can score. So the Golden Knights can't really go ahead and just load up a Jack Eichel line, put two other good wingers with them. This is the other disadvantage of them not having Mark Stone. Now they have to look for different guys to load up their top six. So I think they're sort of just hoping that Jack Eichel and Tomas Hertl, can those two guys be the top two centers that go toe-to-toe with top lines of Edmonton? And then, as we know, there's going to be a lot of minutes for the third lines with the Henrique line and the William Karlsson line, and I think that's where this game might be won or lost.
Yep, I also think, I mentioned how it's all about adjustments, right? So Chris Knobloch makes some choices, takes some guys out of the lineup, brings some guys in. The Vegas Golden Knights are doing that tonight, but it's not out of strategy. It's out of necessity because Brandon Saad can't go, because Mark Stone can't go tonight. And then guys like Petey and McNabb are battling through injury. But hey, also good point here from Lance Kane, as he said, if you come to a Nation event, you will probably see Bag Milk's face. So there is also that. Now you have to guess who it's going to be. He's going to talk to everybody in the bar, voice line up, and then be like, oh, shit, there it is. Brett, can you tell the story of what happened in Las Vegas? Because it was so funny what this one fan decided to do up in our booth.
Yeah, so we were walking out. It was during like the second intermission or something. And he was like, hey, I'm a big Oilers Nation guy. Like, love you guys, blah, blah, blah. Love bagged milk. And we were like, oh, no way. And we take a look behind us, and there's bagged milk walking behind us. And he's like, oh, I could recognize him by his voice.
I could pick his voice out of a lineup.
I'm like, would you? Would you really? Oh, no way. What? No way. As he's walking over, it'd be like, hey, why don't you talk to him, Bag Milk?
Hey, so, dude, this guy said he'd recognize Bag Milk's voice out of anywhere, and Bag Milk starts talking to him, and the dude just plastered, right? He's no idea that it's Bag Milk. We had him stringing along for a minute or two, and I was like, dude, you're talking to Bag Milk right now. And he's, whoa. His brain just exploded. Fantastic. You get that credit. You can get that on the Nation Vacation as well. Double ad read right there. Now, let's do another one. Shout out Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. When you download their app today, you please play responsibly. Got to be 19 years or older. You can bet on basically everything. Series winners, Stanley Cup champions, overs, money lines, puck lines, goal scores, power play points. They've literally got it all here at Bet365. I'm also sweating some NBA action tonight as well. Celtics aren't dead. They're still too good. They're still going to compete. RIP Jason Tatum's Achilles, though. That is quite tough. Shout out Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bert, hit it for me here, because when these ones are played together, I was kind of shocked by what the juice comes out to be. So if you're going to give me Oilers money line, underdogs, plus 105, I'm going to smash that one. Did Bet365 not watch Game 4? Because I feel like that one wasn't even close. I understand Vegas is the home team in this hockey game. The Oilers have already stolen one on the road in this series, so I like the Oilers plus 105 action. Second one, Zachary Martin-Hyman to get 1+ points, currently at minus 115. He's got 3 points in 4 games so far. He's also playing Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, so I'm liking Zach Hyman in this one. Also really like that he's kind of adjusted his game here in the playoffs. He leads the NHL in hits right now so far. That is insane. And then Evander Kane, he just loves the spotlight. And I think being in Vegas, we just saw it, got out of a rollie. Also like him for an anytime goal then, but over 2.5 shots on goal, currently plus 120. He had 4 shots on goal in the last game. I talk about that Oilers third line of Rico, Brownie, and Kaner. If the Golden Knights got to defend Connor Leon on separate lines, I like the matchup that third line's going to get. And then obviously, I say it all the time, Evander Kane never met a shot that he didn't like. Coombsy, which of these 3 bets do you like the most?
I like the logic on the Evander Kane one. Like we just sort of talked about, he's been huge for the Oilers in these playoffs thus far, especially the Golden Knights series. It seems like he's really sort of found another level here, and I think I'm on the same page with you that he wants to be the guy that steps up and has a big game for the Oilers if they eliminate the Golden Knights here in Game 5.
Parlayed together, plus 550 with a little bit of juice right there. Bert, which one do you like the most? And you haven't spidered in a while, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably a good thing, actually, that we've been winning hockey games. All right, you're banned.
Yeah, you're right.
You're banned.
I know. There's a very specific reason why I haven't during these playoffs. So, no, I like 91 with over 2.5 shots on goal. I think he's going to be all around it once again after what we saw in Game 2 or in Game 4, excuse me. And again, you saw him pull up with the Rolls Royce. That was nasty. I like the vibe. I like how we're feeling. I like 91 over 2.5 shots.
I like how we're feeling. I like this vibe of the Edmonton Oilers right now. This is good NHL playoffs. And, yep, I do see him. Oh, I also like what he just said in the private chat. Let's go to our new pal, Devan Dubnyk. His appearances brought to you by Tourism Jasper, because this summer you can find your happy place in Jasper. From hiking trails, paddling wild waters, or sharing laughs by the fire, happiness finds you here. Jasper is open, vibrant, and ready to welcome you back for more unforgettable moments. So drive over, play outside, soak up the sun out here in Jasper, because your best summer memories aren't behind you. They're waiting for you this summer in Jasper. Plan your trip at jasper.travel/summer. All right, let's bring him on right now. As we just got late-breaking information, Mark Stone officially confirmed not on the ice for warm-ups. And the Vegas Golden Knights have all 8 defensemen on the ice for warm-ups, which is being said is an indicator they don't know who's going to be ready to go in this hockey game. Dubes, hey, you're never wishing injury upon anybody. Obviously, Mark Stone's he's had enough time being on the LTIR in his career before, but that's a big loss for the Vegas Golden Knights, as already they've been losing momentum in this series. Thoughts on Mark Stone, the captain for the Vegas Golden Knights, in this clinching game for the Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah, I mean, he's a huge piece of their team all over the ice. He's one guy that you watch, especially defensively. He's got one of the best sticks in the league. Tons of takeaways, tons of sneaky little plays that he does, stuff that you might not necessarily notice unless you're really watching him closely. He does a lot of little things right. And so combine that with he's their leader, he's their energy guy. When he gets going and he gets fired up and excited, it goes through that entire hockey team. So it's definitely a huge piece missing with them. Same time, this is still a good hockey team. They played a lot of minutes without him the other night. And I believe that was Game 3, the one they ended up winning, that they spent most of the game without him. So, it's an opportunity. Other guys are going to be forced to step up. But end of the day, it's a positive for the Oilers, negative for the Knights. But they're still a good enough team that it's not going to change the game that much. But they certainly got to take it and run with it.
They've got enough leaders on that team. They're a veteran squad. They've obviously been in the Stanley Cup Finals before, but it's clinchmas for the Oilers here, feeling good. They have won series clinching games 7 of their last 8 opportunities to do so. If they do so, dude, they will punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals for the third time in 4 years. Knocking on wood. Job is not finished. We are not there yet. But as a lifelong Oilers fan, that's a crazy statement that I just said right there. But in that last game, Dubes, Game 4, that's a team that looks incredibly ready to go on a long run. That was your cliche 60-minute complete effort. They had the lead for 58 and a half minutes in that hockey game, and they never looked back. It was a performance that has the Oilers feeling good. The fans are feeling good. I'm enjoying that kind of mainstream media right now is talking about, hey, this Edmonton Oilers team feels a little bit different. They're deeper than they have been in years past. I joked to Coombsy, forever the phrase depth scoring has had a negative connotation in Edmonton because it's the lack of depth scoring. Right now, we're getting it plentiful. Connor and Leon's still fantastic, but the Oilers have been they've just been deep as an entire team in every single position, whether it's goalie as well. I want to ask you, do you kind of subscribe to that same theory that the Oilers really good last year, dude? They went on went to 7 games of the Stanley Cup Finals. They were one good period away from winning the Stanley Cup. But right now, kind of the feeling around the squad right now is this might be the best McDry team they've ever had in the McDry era. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that, and the difference is when you have the depth scoring, is you're going to be able to win games in all different types of ways, and that's really what we've seen. We always talk about it being an absolute roller coaster with this team, and it is. But each game, they went on a 6-game winning streak, which is crazy enough to begin with. But every game was different. Every game was won differently. Whether it was 2 goals back-to-back games by Bouchard, if the power play is coming through, if it's Connor Brown, if it's Janmark scoring, like there's Evander Kane with huge plays. They're winning games in all these different types of ways, and that's recipe for prolonged success in the playoffs. And I think last year, without the depth as much, you look a huge reason of why that they were going and went as far as they did. Their power play was completely outrageous throughout the playoffs, and which is great, but they haven't had that. They haven't had the opportunities this year on the power play, and the power play hasn't been nearly as successful. However, they're able to win games because of now all of this depth and different guys stepping up in different ways. Corey Perry, Adam Henrique last game. Again, you go down the list. I mean, it's the entire team. Or just at different points throughout this playoffs, every single guy has come up with a big play or a big shift or a big game. And not only is that great for the team winning-wise, but that really gets everybody coming together. I mean, when everybody is contributing, everybody's getting ice time, everybody's chipping in at different times, that really brings the team close, and you need that to go all the way. And this is a special looking Oilers team right now. I love what they did last game, and like you said in the past, this is a veteran group, a veteran playoff group of guys who know how important tonight is. They know how important it is to close this out right now, because you just don't want to let it drag on. And as all the bumps, all the ups and downs throughout this entire playoff, we've seen incredible response from this team and the entire team. And that's that veteran playoff group that I expect to see tonight do their best to end this series.
The Oilers opened the scoring in Game 4 just a minute and a half into the first period, and then they scored again later in the first period to carry a 2-0 lead into the first intermission. Can you talk about how important it is for teams to get out to that good early start and have that lead?
Well, history would suggest in this Edmonton playoff run that that's a terrible idea. And when Henrique scored, I said, oh, shoot, this is not going to be a good one. But yes, the trend normally very strongly would suggest that scoring first is good. And you know what I liked about the scoring first? So you go back to the previous game, and they got the 2 goals, and they were fine. And then we talked about Skinner with it, where the 1 goal let in that he gave up. The first one was questionable, another one right away. And then, Oilers, they kind of got away from their game. And so what I really liked about them scoring first is they stuck with it. They continue to play well. They got a couple big saves from Skinner. He looked comfortable in there. Then they got the 2-0 lead, and nothing ever came off the tracks. There was no huge momentum swings. There was no bonehead plays, no bad penalties. They just kept the train on the tracks throughout the entire game and really were the better team. And that's kind of the most exciting thing about watching that game. And if they can play like that, then yes, getting that first lead and continuing to play forward rather than giving it up and having the other team with momentum. But the nice thing about the Oilers right now, honestly, I've never watched hockey before where I really don't care when a team, like, who scores. Like, I've never watched a hockey game with a team go down 2-0 in the first period and just be like, that really doesn't matter. It's just going to depend on whether we tie it up in the first, the second, or the third.
Dubes, as an avid Bet365 man myself, when the Oilers go down a goal or 2 goals, I go, this is a perfect opportunity for me to profit and live bet the comeback, because more often than not, they find a way to do it. Obviously, Game 4, Stuart Skinner, He was fantastic. We know this, and we talk about goaltending enough here. But I thought the team in front of him was fantastic as well. Crazy how that works, hey? Sometimes felt like they really stuck to their defensive structure. They were smart. They were getting in lanes to block shots, getting in passing lanes. The PK, big in the first period, getting their clears when they needed to do it. Obviously, Stu was great. We're looking for him to build on that as well. But the team in front of him, they got to be smart in that D zone. And then once again, you kind of talk about the importance of the neutral zone and whatnot. That's in games 1 and 4 when the Oilers have dominated. They have owned that neutral zone. They haven't given Vegas much on the forecheck because their D is able to break that puck out so cleanly, so smoothly. We're looking for that again tonight on the road in Vegas.
Yeah, and that neutral zone is so key. When we talk about the neutral zone, it's that turnover transition game. And if you watch when the Oilers are doing it their best, they're spending time in the other team's end, and then their neutral zone forecheck and their forecheck throughout the neutral zone. They're turning pucks over either in the neutral zone and going the other way, or just they're forcing their team to either chip it, have a bad dump where they can go get it, come back, or even getting it just inside their own blue line and turning back and going the other way quickly. And whichever team does that, you can see it work both ways. When Edmonton does that, and especially with high flying with McDavid, really all these guys with the speed going the other way, it's like you just barely got the zone clear, and it's not even 200 feet, and it's coming back the other way quickly, and that's where things open up. Teams will make bad changes. Guys get stuck out there. All these good things happen when you're being aggressive together in the neutral zone, turning pucks over and getting the other way. And it goes the same way the other way. I thought in game 2, which they ended up winning anyway, there was just a ton of times where they spent a lot of time in their own zone, sloppy, couldn't get clears. And then when they did, whether they just weren't getting good dumps, they weren't getting pucks deep when they needed to, they were turning the puck over at the Vegas blue line, and they were coming back, and it was just that constant down the throat. So whoever can manage that neutral zone better tonight and get the puck transitioning in their forward's hand is going to be probably the team on top at the end.
Golden Knights have been a very good off the rush team all season long. The Edmonton Oilers been bad at defending off the rush all season long as well. Final one I got for you. Actually, Brett, just pull up the keys. I kind of combined 2 and 3 because I only got a couple minutes left as I'm getting handed a couple things here live on the air. Doobie's keys to victory: weather the storm at the start, D-zone, energy, and exits. Win the neutral zone. Doobs, my last question for you, because I just saw it online and in the chat. An Austin Matthews jersey has hit the ice down at Scotiabank Arena right now as they are down 5-0. Are you a Toronto Maple Leafs hater as much as like the rest of us are? Now,
I'm not.
I'm a Flames hater through and through, but I mean, I don't have a huge hate for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it's just kind of fun. But you say you don't, no?
I'm not. Listen, my older brother is a diehard Toronto Maple Leafs fan for his entire life. So, I mean, I was borderline bullied into being a Leafs fan as a kid. Just followed along for my own safety. So I've never hated Leafs for sure. And, usually I cheer them on because it makes them happy. So I want my brother to be happy. So I cheer for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And over the years, it's, I enjoy rooting them on. And I mean, they're obviously center of the hockey universe. So you either love them or you hate them. And right now things are not looking good over in Toronto. It's not just the last couple losses. Obviously this game's not over yet, but it's not pretty to watch right now.
I thought people would be more against Florida. Like, don't we want to see the Panthers get knocked out?
I was initially. I said I wanted to wrench. Holy shit, they scored again. 6-0. All right, I'm officially willing to say that it is now officially over. It's 6-0. That's a beatdown of the Toronto Maple Leafs by the Florida Panthers. Dubes also confirmed. Doobie, good guy, great brother. What a beauty right there, Dubes. Final question: score prediction, and give me an anytime goal scorer for the Edmonton Oilers in tonight's hockey game. How does this one finish?
I am going to go Scory Perry tonight. Nice. He's just one of those guys that steps up in moments like this. He's ready to end this thing now. And I'm going to go 5-2 Oilers with 2 empty netters.
Oh, bet the puck line. Bet the puck line, people. That's what we think. All right, Dubes, we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll talk to you right here on the Oilers Nation YouTube channel right after the game on Oilers Nation After Dark. I'll text you shortly. I got to go host a party tonight. It's getting a little rowdy in here. I think the Oilers fans are hoping this one's going to end positively. And Wednesday, let's call it Friday tonight, because if that happens, Greta Barria's going to have a good one. Dubes, talk to you in a bit.
See you after.
There we go. Devan Dubnyk. God, we love having him on the show. You know what else I love? Budweiser. Shout out to them. They're also a proud sponsor of Pregaming with Bordzy. They've been brewing Budweiser in Edmonton for 45 years now, and they've teamed up. They've partnered up with Edmontonian and Oilers legend Mark Messier. They got those beautiful Edmonton cans all around right now. Lock on or get on socials. Lock in on their socials. They'll tell you where you can buy those bad boys, as they are delicious. We got a bunch of them in the studio. Nat Coombsy, that'll do it for us. But boys, I need score predictions. I need anytime goal scorers. Coombsy, I'll let you go first.
Evander Kane's going to score a goal, and it's going to be 3-1 for the Oilers.
There you go. The under in that one. Bert, what about you?
I'm not a 4-1 Oil, and I'm going to go with, you know what, lazy, but I'm going to go with it, Connor McDavid. Looks like he's kind of due for one, a little bit of big one here, especially in an elimination game. I'm going Connor.
I'm going to go 4-2 for the Edmonton Oilers. Puck line, that's a cover. Zachary Martin-Hyman, anytime goal. He's been laying the body recently. He's back up with 97 and 93. It's a matter of time before he gets back to 50 goal scorer, Zachary Hyman, that we know. And that will do it for us. We got 6-2 Oil, 5-2 Oil, 5-4 Oil, 3-0 Oil. Don't say the word. 4-2 good guys from the Silver Merlin. Also a couple Doobie the Beauty. He really, really is. And you guys in the chat, you're always fantastic. Tammy, we love you. Thoughts and prayers with you. I also have a couple more super chats. Sasky, we are ready in Imperial, Saskatchewan for a W. A cup, yeah. Silver Merlin for Tammy's grandma. That's what we love in this chat, baby. 4 Ben stick taps. Let's go. Can I get a cup? Yeah.
A cup, yep.
And then Mackay and Dry with Bordzy Bars 19.
Yep.
Gentleman sweep because we're 4 lines deep. But Nobby treats Jay Skin like he's a creep with Stu as our goal keep and guys driving to the hill like a. All right, with Stu as our goal keep and guys driving to the hill like a Jeep. Easily into round 3, we shall leap. Cup, yeep. Cup, yeep. Cup, yeep. Yeep. There it is. All right. We love you all. Throw it on your courtesy like on the way out. We'll be live right here, Oilers Nation After Dark, right after the game. I got to go host a party down here at Greta Bar Yeg. Never too late to come on down here. Over and out. Good luck on the Bet365 Battlegrounds. I love you all. Peace out.